Yeah. Um, yeah. I don't know what to say. Um, I think you could say the Yankees are pretty bad. Is that an overreaction? No, I don't think so anymore. I think this is it. Like, this was kind of the series. I was trying to remain level headed. This one kind of put me over the top. It wasn't the Red sweep. It was this Red Sox 2 out of 3 loss. So we'll try to talk about whatever we talk about in this show. I think the Yankees are a bad team. Let's get to it. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Let's get to it.
Anthony for three. That one goes. And the game is tied.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The Yankees are champions of baseball. Shaking and baking right here on the neophyte.
Trying to close the show.
She was doing a great job of feeding.
That is
It's over. Don't you regret not coming to the net? Don't you regret not coming to the net?
Game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Okay. Well, welcome to the show. Don't know how much of a show this one's going to be, but welcome. The Yankees lost another series. What is that? Is that 8 consecutive series? They haven't won consecutive games since June 12th, meaning they haven't won a series since the Kansas City Royals series. That was their last series win. And if you really want to count, like, when was the last time they beat a good team? Because I don't consider the Royals a good team. They're a couple of games over 500 now. You go back to, the beginning of June? And that was the Minnesota Twins, who obviously, you know the history there. Does that even count? Like, they've been bad, bottom line. They've lost 15 of 20. They've lost 6, or they are 6-16 since June 12th, which is the worst in baseball. Their rotation has a bloated 6.77 ERA since then, the worst in baseball. Their lineup, some nights they'll drop 14, other nights they'll drop 0, like we saw this past weekend, because there's only 2 legitimate bats. 2.5 now, since we're in the Rice age, as people are calling it. But yeah, like, that's where we are. And it just seems like we've finally come back down to earth. And this is kind of the same thing. I mean, you go back to 2022. The Yankees start on this torrid pace. An even better pace that they were on to begin this season for 2.5 months. But the second half comes, and they collapse, and they play mediocre baseball the rest of the way. They don't even get to 100 wins, which was disappointing given the pace they were on. 2023 comes, kind of the same thing. They're playing well. They get it together. They're having a good season around the time they play the Dodgers. Judge gets hurt. They never regain their form. They collapse the second half. And now you have this season. Very similar. Soto gets off to this hot start. Judge finally gets hot. Those two are hitting. Other guys are chiming in for a little bit. And they're on fire. The rotation's on fire. The bullpen is doing the job. Right? And this team's unreal for 2.5 months. And then they started losing a few series. And you're like, all right, well, it's the 162. This is what happens in baseball, man. Teams go through slumps. It's going to happen. The ebbs and flows of the game. It's baseball. It's longer than any other sport that's played. You're bound to run into slumps. But I was of that mentality. I tried to take that measured approach for so long. And I kind of lost my confidence after that Cincinnati Reds sweep. That was disgusting. Didn't even record an episode after that. We've been busy with work. Missed a lot of episodes this year so far, but I started to lose a little confidence in that mentality. Like, maybe it's just not a slump. I'll give them the Boston series, and if they can, I was honestly hoping we could sweep them, but if they could take 2 from Boston, I'll hang on. They lost 2 out of 3. And now I'm at a point where I think they just played over their heads for 2.5 months. I think it was the opposite. I don't think those first 2.5 months were who the Yankees were. Maybe those first 2.5 months were the Yankees playing over their heads. You know, it's not like I'm starting to think it's not, this is just a slump and they'll get back to playing like that soon. Like, I'm kind of at the point now where I think, no, this is the way they're going to be the rest of the way. Because we've seen it the last 2 seasons. And just because you're throwing Juan Soto into the mix, it doesn't mean everything else is going to change. Because you have slop. You have slop. 5 through 9 in the order is slop. Sorry. It's crazy, too, because I was feeling so confident. Just 3-4 weeks ago, I had a family event, and I was telling my uncles and my cousins, hey, because I got a little like pact with my family. I'm like, when I turned 21, I'm 29 now. When I turned 21, I told them I'm not taking a sip of alcohol until the Yankees win the World Series. And I was telling them, hey, this might be the year where you guys finally going to see me drink. Things are rolling. They're looking good. Sure, make a couple adjustments, make some upgrades, but this might be the year, guys. And then, like, the second I open my mouth and start yapping, of course, the one time I'm positive, who, you know, if you're close to me in real life, you'll probably call me a pessimistic fan. The one time I'm positive comes back to bite me immediately. They start losing games left and right, and this is unlike anything I've seen before from this team. But at the same time, like we just said, it is. But like, to do this, like last year, they didn't have Aaron Judge for the second half of the season, and they didn't have Juan Soto at all. Both of them guys have been playing damn near every game this year. And again, 55-37, whatever it is now, they were 54-20. It's really disgusting. And we're going to recap these games really briefly. But this is not going to be a normal structured episode. I'm probably just going to rant about this team and then hop off. But it seems like this is who this team is. And I don't know if they're going to make enough upgrades to make this a World Series contender. I don't have any faith in the Yankees to do that. I didn't make any graphics for this episode. So if you're watching on YouTube, this screen is the only screen you're going to see. But game 1, the Yankees lose to the Red Sox 5-4. Nestor Cortez, left-hander, going up against the righty Tanner Houck, who I think made the All-Star team. Who cares? And Nestor Cortez actually pitched very well. 6 innings, was it, of 1-run ball? The rain delay didn't seem to bother him. He was staying in rhythm before, after. But he was hitting his spots with his fastball. That's always key, right? That's why I'm very, like, I don't trust Nestor Cortez as a soft-throwing lefty with inconsistent command. But in this game, he was hitting his spots. And the velocity was a little better. He was touching 95 here and there. So he pitched very well. He held a very potent Red Sox lineup full of left-handed bats down. Good matchup for him. And he continues to do his thing at home. We know the home road splits. But yeah, Nestor Cortez, for as much shit as I give him, has been the Yankees' best starting pitcher along with Luis Seal, who we'll talk about. Maybe. I don't even know if I have the energy to talk anything positive right now. But it didn't matter that Nestor Cortez was good because this was a horrific game for the Yankees fundamentally, for the Yankees offensively. Like there was no energy, there was no hustle, there was no focus. It was disgusting. They only scored in this game. They only scored because of 3 walks and an error on a potential ground ball double play that should have been made. That's the only reason they scored those runs. Their bats were dead. They were making horrific mental errors, lazy mistakes that we'll talk about. This was the Volpe DJ game, We'll talk about that. I'm going to save that for later. And the bullpen continued to be the Yankee bullpen. Bad. Tommy Kahnle's fastball got hammered in this game. This was after the outing where he's throwing nothing but changeups. His fastball got beat up. Clay Holmes comes in the 9th inning. The Yankees are going to steal a win they had no business winning. He's 1 strike away against Masataka Yoshida. Boom, home run. Clay Holmes continuing to do what Clay Holmes does. Starts the season hot and then just fucking folds. And somehow this guy's an all-star. The Yankee closer with a 3 ERA, a 1.31 whip. Tied in the American League for the most blown saves in baseball. That guy made the All-Star team over Kenley Jansen, over Craig Kimbrell, over Luke Weaver. That guy's in. Insane to me. But yeah, it was a game full of abhorrent mistakes in which we'll discuss in further detail when I rant about the Yankees in a few minutes. This isn't even my rant. That was game 1. Game 2, they fooled everybody, just like they did when they had that little cute Marcus Stroman win when he exploded on Torres. They tease you with the win here and there. This was that tease. It's the 14-4 victory, just like the 16-whatever victory against the Toronto Jays. Stroman game. I think that was the Stroman game. 14-4, a fake win. Garrett Cole went up against Winkowski. And the Yankees hammered Boston pitching. 14 runs on 14 hits, 7 extra base hits, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts, 6 for 10 in scoring position. Bottom 1, Ben Rice with a solo home run, 1-0. Bottom 3, the Yanks are down 3-1. Verdugo hits a 2-run home run, ties the game. Bottom 5, the Yanks are down 4-3, but the Yankees erupt in this inning for 7 runs. You have Volpe with an RBI double off of Greg Weissert. Austin Wells with the bases loaded walk off of Weissert. It's 5-4. The Yankees are up. Oswaldo Cabrera sac fly. DJ LeMahieu an RBI single. It's 7-4. Weisert's out of the game. Anderson comes into the game. Ben Rice mashes a 3-run home run, his second of the game at the time, to make it 10-4 Yankees. Bottom 7 comes DJ, another RBI base hit off Anderson. 11-4, and then Ben Rice, another 3-run home run, this one versus Anderson, and his 3rd home run of the game. 14-4 Yankees, that would be your eventual final score. Ben Rice went off. 3 for 5, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, gets the curtain call. That was a cool moment. Didn't know what he was doing. Yankees had to direct him, show him what was up, and he goes out for the curtain call. That was really cool. First Yankee rookie with 3 homers in a game. I think the kid's got something, man. It's early, but I think he'll be a solid ball player. He looks like he's got things figured out, but we'll see. Judge 2 for 5, Verdugo 2 for 5, 2 RBIs, a home run, rounded the bases slowly. I kind of like that. When he hit the home run there, that triggered Red Sox fans. Anything that could trigger them makes me happy. DJ was 2 for 3, a walk, 2 RBIs. Cabrera 2 for 2, RBI, sac fly, a sac bunt. Volpe 1 for 5, double RBI. Wells 0 for 1, walk, RBI. But a good decision by this loser who I'm going to hammer in a few minutes to pinch hit Wells after Trent Grisham got intentionally walked. Gets the matchup advantage with Austin Wells there, lefty on righty. Trevino 1 for 1, double, walk. Grisham was 1 for 4, double, walk. Soto was 0 for 5. Garrett Cole. 4 in the third innings, 4 runs, 8 strikeouts, 2 walks, 7 hits, a home run allowed. I'm not impressed yet. With Garrett Cole. The velocity seems like it's coming. He ramps up inning by inning. That's nice. But the command isn't sharp yet. And just the results haven't been there at all. Rafael Devers kills Garrett Cole, kills the Yankees, kills Garrett Cole, homers off him, stares him down, does his thing. Cole didn't like it. Stares back at him. Maybe you should have intentionally walked. I mean, you thought after tonight, the first time he hit it again, that they were going to intentionally walk him, then he does it again. The bullpen was good in this game, but who cares? The Yankees lose. The Yankees win. But the Yankees lose game 3. 3-0. They lose 3-0. The right-hander, Luis Heel, going up against the right-hander, Cutter Crawford. And, of course, in Yankee fashion, they make this absolute bum, this random bum with a career 4.35 ERA look like he's half decent. Quick at-bats, swinging at first pitches, just weak ground balls. There was a couple solid balls hit to the track by Cabrera and Judge, but for the most part, making a mediocre pitcher look half decent. So that guy, with an incredible pitch count because the Yankees weren't even working at bats, I think he went into the 6th or 7th inning. Top 7 comes, though. Rafael Devers with the solo home run off of Luis Heel as a parting gift. It's 1-0 Boston. Bottom 7. Soto leads off with a bloop single that he probably should have been called out for had a proper throw been made. But he reaches second with a bloop double, sorry. So he's on second base, Soto is, with no outs in the bottom of the 7th. Judge comes up to the plate, and Judge, doing what he does best in high leverage situations, doesn't come through. Verdugo comes to the plate. He grounds out, moves the runner over, but now Soto's on third with 2 outs, and the slumping Anthony Volpe comes up to the plate, and he does not come through. So completely wasted an opportunity there. And then to make matters worse, the Yankee bullpen now in the game, top 8, top 9, gives up home runs. You have the Rafaela solo home run off of Weaver to make it 2-zip in the 8th. And then the 9th inning comes, and you would have thought, listen, I am no fan of the intentional walk. I'm the first person to tell you I hate the intentional walk, and I'll go a step further, and I've said before, if I was commissioner, I would ban the intentional walk because I think it's cowardly. But, like, there comes a point where, all right, you might want to use this thing. And Rafael Devers, again, his solo home run, this time off Michael Tonkin, pulls an outside pitch. It was just super impressive with what he did. And it's fucking 3-0. I cannot believe the Yankees just, they pitched to him. After everything that's been going on, they pitched to him. Hilarious. So that happens. And of course, the Yankees do nothing. The bats were dead. Nobody scored a run. I think they only had 4 hits. Luis Heel was good. It was good to see him bounce back. He had life. He was showing confidence. The body language was improved. The stuff was crisp. He was actually going to the slider a lot more in this game. And the slider looked pretty good. There was a really good sequence. He struck out Devers in the 4th inning, maybe 3rd or 4th inning, where it was just excellent sequencing where he went change up low and away to get him swinging, and then he went slider middle low to get him strike 3. He struck out Devers. I thought that was really impressive sequencing. So fastball was working really good up in the zone, 97, 98, getting swing and misses with that. 9 strikeouts, 6 innings, 6 2/3 innings. Just the one run there in the 7th off the solo bomb. But it was really nice to see him bounce back. He absolutely needed to do that. So good for him. And the bullpen was bad. But I'm going to hand Luis Seal the award there. I'm tipping my cap to him. That's his 9th time this season. As we go to the bullpen, I'll tip my cap to Tim Hill. 2 2/3 of scoreless innings in the second game of the series. He's actually pitched pretty well for the Yankees since they picked him up off the scrap heap. Credit to Matt Blake. Matt Blake doing his thing. Good. And then we'll go to the lineup, and I'm going to tip my cap to Ben Rice. Got on base a couple times in the first game. Had 3 home runs in the second game. Didn't do well tonight, but Ben Rice and Tim Hill both get their first salutes of the season. But yeah, we're not going to waste time going through the numbers there and making graphics because I just want to get into this. I am so finished with this loser at the helm that they call manager of the team. And I want to talk about this loser at the helm that they call manager when we return from our first break here. Stay with us on the podcast.
Hey there, thanks for listening in so far. If you enjoy this episode, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much. You can follow us on social media as well. On Instagram, we're at BD4Pod and at Rob J. Carbone. On X, we're at BD4Pod and at RJCBD4. And on Facebook, we're BD4. If you're interested in our website, just go to www.bd4blog.com. You can subscribe to our blog on there right on the front page. Just like on the podcast, we cover Yankees, Knicks, and MMA. Also on our website are the links to the different platforms for the podcast. Thanks so much.
All right. Yeah. Listen. I am trying my best. But this loser, this snowflake that the Yankees call a manager, I listen, outside his first season here, when obviously everybody was giving him a shot, I've not ever really been a fan of him. And you got, I was going to say glimpses. No, you got the full experience of why I dislike this guy so much as a manager in this series. And it's the constant lackadaisical, inexcusable kindergarten mistakes. And I shouldn't even use the word mistakes because that's giving him the benefit of the doubt. But like Volpe in game 1, not running home there on that ball hit in the infield, diabolical. DJ LeMahieu not hustling down the line, diabolical. And then later in the game, the continuation of the Yankees just being very sloppy in the field. Oswaldo Cabrera bounces out of his glove. You got bad throws by I don't know if it was Wells or Trevino, I forget, but you had the error there. You had the Luke Weaver throw that just sails into the outfield. But what really bothered me was that play with Volpe. And then you hear the excuses, the utter pathetic excuses in the postgame. Instead of having a little bit of accountability, there's no leadership there. There's no urgency. It's, hey, it's all good. Let me make excuses for my guys. And you wonder why the Yankees continue to make these errors. Because he allows it. This guy allows it. There's no accountability. There's no urgency. So he allows this to keep happening because they think it's okay. These unfocused lapses, he allows it. Because not only does he not call them out for it, which it's okay to do that, by the way, pussies. But not only does he not call them out for it, he makes excuses for them every single friggin' time. I mean, how often does he do this, right? And he'll compliment them, right? Whether it's the roof being open or closed, or the 17 strikeout game, maybe it was the shadows, or he'll compliment them or make excuses. DJ was trying to get into running mode. Is that what he was saying? Oh, he was hustling. He was just trying to get into a running form. What does that even mean? I want you to think for a second and break that down very slowly. Trying to get into a running form. These are professional athletes. Anthony Volpe saying he thought it was a foul ball. Boone backing him. I mean, this is insane stuff. And it's all because this clown at the head allows it to happen. The Yankees wanted their player-friendly manager who coddles everybody. They have him. Because he hasn't cracked once. And then tonight comes Game 3 to follow up the worst loss of the season in Game 1 with a worst loss of the season in Game 3. And then in the post game, it's right in front of us. There's his iconic line. Girardi had "It's not what you want." Well, Boone's got his right in front of us line. Just feeding you the same garbage. And you'll wonder why I don't like this guy. He is the perfect manager for this newer generation. I'll say that. He makes perfect sense for this participation generation. Perfect sense in this era of athletes that we have. I just, it's insane. The fundamentals on this team are gone, and you'll wonder why. Right? And you'll wonder why this team's lows are so low, and they last so long. And you'll wonder why players regress under this guy time and time again. I wonder why. And this is just who they are, man. This is just who this Yankees team is. They are the identity of their manager. That's it. Period. Period. There's no secret to it. I just wish this Yankees team had a little bit more balls and just wanted to win a little bit more. Right? Like the Yankee front office and management, Hal, Cashman, Boone, etc., they need to start speaking and acting with some goddamn urgency. Because whether or not they actually believe they're going to be okay is beside the entire fucking point. Because you have 26 guys on this roster that desperately need a shakeup, that desperately need a fire lit under their ass to fix what's been going on for, let's call it a month now. They need to figure this out and stop acting. Stop acting like it's okay. Stop, I hate to use this word, gaslighting your fan base. Because we're not stupid. We know. But it's okay. It's okay to not be politically correct all the time. You can go out there in your post-game interviews and you could say that was a disgusting performance. And unless we fix our shit, we're not going to be okay. So we need to fix our shit. You could say something like that. Maybe you don't have to curse, but you can be a little bit urgent. You don't have to keep using the Mr. Positive line. And it's shit like that it's why I will never, ever like this guy. Cashman's nowhere to be found. I'm sure if they keep losing, which they probably will, he'll be on the K show and they'll snowball him some questions that the Yankees prepared for him. You know, they'll control the whole thing because that's what they do. And Cashman sucks. I get it. Boone's not the entire issue, but just because Cashman sucks, it doesn't make Boone right. Doesn't mean Boone doesn't suck. That guy sucks. Yes, it's Cashman's roster. We know Cashman's a joke. The guy gets credit for everything when all of his success should be given to Gene in the 90s. Since then, it's been a couple of things, but he's so overrated. It's insane. I mean, you missed the postseason in 2023, and you go out there. Okay, let me get Soto. That's what it is. It's Soto, Judge, and a bunch of 600 OPS or worse bums. You knew third base was a question mark in the offseason. You knew first base, Anthony Rizzo, was a question mark in the offseason. You knew second base, Gleyber Torres, kind of a question mark player, but his value was the highest it was ever going to be. And you kept him around. So you go and trade for Juan Soto, good. But then you do patchwork around that. Spraying cologne on a pile of trash. You could have addressed many other holes. You could have addressed the infield holes with cheap options like Heimer Candelario, who's got a 107 OPS plus this year. Cody Bellinger plays a little first base, can play outfield, can DH. He's got a 109 OPS plus. Didn't exactly get a big deal himself. Matt Chapman, same thing. Didn't get a big deal like he wanted. Boris, he's got a 118 OPS plus. Would have been a great third baseman for you. But instead, you're rolling out DJ LeMahieu and all these below average hitters. Gleyber Torres, Jose Trevino, Oswaldo Cabrera, Anthony Volpe and Alex Verdugo haven't been the same for a while now. You know, Rizzo and Stanton are hurt. Is that a shock to anybody that Stanton went down? I mean, they like to use this excuse like, well, injuries happen. Well, yeah, they happen to guys who are injury prone. Prepare for that shit. It's really bad. It's really bad. But, you know, the Yankees are going to sit here and they're going to tell you that the postseason is a crapshoot. Because, yeah, like the Yankees haven't had dynasties before. Did you not just witness what the Houston Astros did for a few years? Just because last year happened, it doesn't mean that's not the exception. You have to have a roster that's built for postseason success to win in the postseason. And Judge, Soto, and friends is just not going to cut it. Now, I think the rotation is going to be okay. But, like, you really need 2 impact bats, at least 2 relief pitchers, for me to have just the thought that they'll be okay. But that's going to cost a fuck ton because of supply and demand. And you're not going to be able to do it right now because everybody thinks they've got a shot, so they're going to wait until the deadline because Manfred says everybody can make the playoffs nowadays. So now because he didn't do anything in the offseason, Cashman, he's got to wait to the last second to get all this help that he needs. But he won't. What he'll do is he'll pick up some guys off the scrap heap, and then the Yankees are going to sell you the idea that John Birdie is their deadline acquisition, that Scott Efros is their deadline acquisition, that Clark Schmidt, Giancarlo Stanton, Jason Dominguez are their acquisitions. That's what they're going to say to you. They're going to feed you garbage. The same garbage they've been feeding you the past number of years. So I'm pissed off. And I think I'm going to end this episode here before I repeat myself even further. Because I feel like we've been on a loop for the last 10 minutes. So I'm sorry about that. But there's not much to say. It's just, it's Groundhog Day. Every season we get to that point where we start talking about that same topic. And we just did it. So let's get to our break. We'll wrap it up with our trivia question when we return from break. Stay with us. Be right back. Studio 69 Productions is a podcast production agency created by Leo Rodriguez to allow content creators to market their podcast. It's an online platform that will market your podcast or any other project that you're working on. Get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. You can find Studio 69 Productions on Instagram at Studio69NJ. Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born.
Thanks for listening to BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA, Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the show. Let's wrap it up with our trivia. Episode 695. Episode 695. Which Yankees catcher hit the last home run at Yankee Stadium before it was renovated in 1974 and 75? All right, which Yankees catcher hit the last home run at Yankee Stadium before it was renovated in 1974 and 75? All right, so let me know the answer wherever you can reach me, folks. Folks, I sound like fucking Biden. That's it. That's all we got. That's it for the show. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, bad team. I don't, I was, for so long, I was like, this is a slump. At least as far as the regular season goes, I think they'll win 100 games, compete for the division. I don't know if I can say that anymore. This series did it for me. Like, I don't know that I can keep saying that. This might not just be a slump. And I think, if they were an organization that had a little more urgency, they would try to make a change at manager. They would fire this guy. And I know that's like, the PC people who are afraid to shoot the shit are probably calling me crazy for saying that, but yeah. Once upon a time, people were more competitive. So there's that. George Steinbrenner won championships, by the way. So let's just end it on that. Thank you all for tuning in. The Yankees are not at all in good shape. So that's why this episode wasn't exactly positive. All right. Appreciate it. Later. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you. And we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees and go Knicks.